Your best friend stopped blinking this morning. She hasn't blinked since. Not once. Not when she cried. Not when she screamed. Not when she watched your face and said it wasn't yours anymore. Emergency broadcast transmission, County Education Safety Network. This message is being broadcast on behalf of the Northridge County Public Safety Department and the Central Unified School District. Please remain indoors. Please remain calm. This is not a test. At 9:02 a.m. this morning, an incident occurred at Willow Falls Middle School involving a student identified as Cleo Anderson, age 13. Cleo is described as light-skinned, 5 feet 3 inches, shoulder-length black hair, blue backpack, and round prescription glasses. She is known to most students as quiet, respectful, and academically gifted. She is also known to many of you as your best friend. She arrived at school alone. That was normal. She went to her locker. That was normal. She smiled when she saw her friends. That was normal too. But she never blinked, not once. At first no one noticed, not really. A few students commented that Cleo looked tired. Her smile was stretched like she was holding something back. But her eyes never moved. They just stayed open, too open. By second period, her teachers became concerned. Her pupils weren't dilating. She stared directly at fluorescent lights without flinching. When asked if she was okay, she simply whispered, "Don't remind me to blink, I haven't forgotten." It is important to note, Cleo's eyes have not shown signs of drying, redness, or any physiological strain. Her tear ducts have stopped functioning entirely. Her eye movements are no longer following normal human patterns. Instead of scanning, her gaze tracks. And not just people, objects, sounds, reflections. The school nurse described it as being looked at through a keyhole. But the keyhole is inside your head. When she tried to examine Cleo with a penlight, Cleo laughed, softly, almost kindly. Then said, "I can see your last thought. You shouldn't think things like that." At 11:15 a.m., Cleo was found sitting at the center of the cafeteria, completely still. Surrounding her were 17 students, all silent, all facing her, all blinking in perfect unison, except her. When staff approached, she finally spoke. "You don't remember what I am, but I remember you." Surveillance footage from earlier this morning has since been reviewed. The moment Cleo stepped onto campus, every camera that captured her flickered once, just once, and for exactly one frame her eyes were closed. But the second her reflection appeared in the glass doors, her eyes opened and have not closed since. Several students who sat near Cleo have reported migraines, auditory hallucinations, and repeating thoughts. Some claim they now feel watched, even in the dark. Others have gone completely nonverbal. One was found drawing perfect circles around 2 dots, over and over until her fingernails broke through the desk. When asked what she was drawing, she simply said, "It's how she sees us." At this time, Cleo remains seated in the main hall. She does not respond to her name. She does not eat. She does not blink. We advise all students and faculty to avoid visual contact with Cleo. Do not attempt to speak to her. Do not wave your hand in front of her face. And under no circumstance should you say the following phrase, "Cleo, it's me." This phrase has been linked to a distinct and immediate response. Upon hearing it, Cleo stands, tilts her head, and smiles. She then whispers a sentence that varies by person, but always ends with the words, "Yuduma, you were better before." Of the 7 people who've heard this, 5 have since attempted to blindfold themselves permanently. One gouged out her own reflection. The last, we cannot account for. Parents, if your child says their best friend has new eyes, do not dismiss it. Do not ask them to describe the color. Do not check the school directory. There is no record of Cleo Anderson ever enrolling, but every classroom has photos of her. We believe the entity using the name Cleo is no longer bound by biological needs. She is not tired. She is not waiting. She is not trying to blend in. She is simply watching, because now she sees something she wasn't supposed to. And the longer her eyes stay open, the more she remembers what you looked like before you were human. This concludes our message. Further updates will follow. Do not blink. She hates being the only one awake.